The Yankees made a statement in this series and just put the world on notice that we are true contenders to win this World Series championship. What's going on, guys? It's King of 161st Street. I'm back with another video, and the one player that I should be talking about, he was one of the only reasons we made such a statement. Aaron Judge. I'm not going to talk about him today. The only reason I'm not is because I'm giving him a designated video in a few days. So bear with me as I'm going to be talking about this series while not fully bringing up all of Judge's accomplishments in this series, because that's going to be more suited for the video I'm coming out with in a few days. Just giving that disclaimer now. Anyways, let's get into it. The Yankees take 2 out of 3 against the Los Angeles Dodgers after taking 2 out of 3 in Seattle. Jake Bauers had a huge game in Game 2. Game 1, look, we're going to throw that out, okay? Sevy has a terrible first inning. They bat around and get a little bit through the order again in the first inning. And you kind of look at Sevy like, damn, that's not the start we needed. And he looked very flat. I mean, I was nervous he was hurt, but it seems like he's on the docket to pitch in this next series. So I'm okay right now. Sevy has a terrible start. We come back. We have Cole on the mound. He looks great. This is one of the best Coles that we've gotten since the start of the season. And he was working in that fastball very well. He's working in that slider amazingly. Look, he had just an amazing game. You had Jake Bauers, who was able to give us some offense against this rookie pitcher. And did you guys notice on the Fox broadcast where they're never going to give us credit, right? The Fox broadcast hates the Yankees. This is a well-documented thing. Usually the Fox gets the Boston versus New York series, and they are heavy Red Sox people. So they're never going to give us anything. They were talking a lot about how good their rookie was doing. But Garrett Cole was the one who was dominating that lineup most of the way through. It was just very weird to me. Usually the Yankees don't play very well on national TV, and we won both our games on national TV. And a lot of it has to do with starting pitching. Garrett Cole gave us an amazing outing, like I said. And then today, Domingo Germán. Look, I think Domingo Germán is trying to earn himself a spot to be our number 5, no matter who comes back. No matter if Montas comes back and Rodon, he's going to be that 5. And most likely they're going to have to move a Montas into the bullpen, or just sort of sit him out for the year like he was probably supposed to. But Germán has been absolutely electric, even though he had that 10-game suspension. And he's had a couple issues with the sticky stuff. Seems like he's going to get that figured out. I don't think the Yankees are going to allow him to have that happen again. He just seems like he's clicking. Everything seems to be working. He's firing on all cylinders. Today, he was super impressive working off of that curveball. His curveball was money down and into lefties, tailing away from righties. You're watching this and you're like, is this the same guy that we saw for most of last year? Because, like I've been saying, I don't think either Clark Schmidt or Domingo Germán were a great option, right? They were both guys who were supposed to be stepping in as fillers for the guys coming back. The Rodons, the Sevys, and the Montas. But Germán is starting to earn himself that true spot, and he's basically becoming what Nestor was last year. Because Nestor last year sort of bursted onto the scene as a guy that we said, okay, he could give us a few solid innings, to like, wow, we could actually rely on this guy. Now that Nestor's starting to fall off and stuff, Domingo Germán is starting to step up. He has been our second most consistent starter this year. There is not a question about it. And do I think Sevy can work his way back up into that second slot? Yes. Look, one bad start doesn't kill your season. Sevi had a terrible start. Things just looked flat. He just wasn't in it, right? I don't know what happened with him. I don't know if there is a lingering injury or if he's still just working himself back and he just had a dud, which is truly possible. Either way, the Yankees found a way to take out one of the best teams in baseball with, on the opening game of the series, losing 8-4, and then coming back with Domingo Germán on the mound in the rubber match, and we found a way to win this series. This is putting the world on notice. This is putting the baseball world on notice. Giancarlo Stanton coming back is very huge for this lineup, along with Josh Donaldson. Look, last year was a very bad year for Josh Donaldson. We could all agree. At the plate, he was not good. If he can give us offensive production, imagine this lineup of Josh Donaldson from 2 years ago, Giancarlo Stanton, and Aaron Judge. Absolutely insane what this lineup could produce, especially having the Rizzos out there, the Glabers. This lineup is devastating for our team to face. Giancarlo Stanton had a few homers in this series. Josh Donaldson had 2 homers in the game we lost. This series proved a lot to me about how competitive we are against these types of teams. And today's game was against one of the best prospects in baseball, a guy who had a below 2 ERA in Bobby Miller. One of the best prospects in baseball. And we just sort of got through it. Domingo Germán outdueled him. Anthony Volpe comes through late. We had Giancarlo Stanton come through. We had small ball. That's another thing. We are not fully relying on the homer. Yes, we are still hitting a lot of them. But over these past 10 games, it's shown we don't fully need it. We can, if we need to, get base hits. We can have a guy on third and sort of just drive him in with outs. It's possible with this team to do that. And I think that's a difference with this team than other teams, is that a lot of our other teams, we needed the homer. We needed the homer or the huge hit to drive in runs. And in October, that doesn't fully work because of the weather. When it's colder out, the ball doesn't travel as far. This year, we're starting to prove we can get base knocks. We can drive in base runners. And we are still hitting a lot of fucking dingers, okay? So don't get it twisted. We are still the Bronx Bombers. But I think having a bit of that balance is huge come postseason time. It'll be interesting to see how the Yankees go about this, because we have a core of this offense that, when it's clicking, is probably the deadliest in baseball. We do need more consistency. Oswaldo's not always going to be hitting homers like he did today or yesterday. We're not always going to get a Jake Bauers bomb. We're not always going to be getting these things coming back. We do have Bader coming back off the IL soon. We'll see what happens with Greg Allen or even Aaron Judge, because he hit his toe on that catch he made in right field. Hopefully that doesn't sideline him for another 10 days, because man, Dodger Stadium has to be better than that. You have to be able to hold a guy when he's running into the wall. These plays are common in baseball. Maybe not too common, but they happen a lot, where a guy is going into the wall trying to make a catch. How is it that a fence that is not supposed to open gets broken by a guy running into it? And then you have a cement stair there that you could just either stub your toe or roll your ankle right over. That's absolutely ridiculous. Los Angeles, just be better. Hopefully that doesn't sideline him for a little bit. But once we get this lineup fully back, it will be interesting to see how the Yankees go about this trade deadline, because it's hard to pinpoint exactly what we need. A left fielder would be nice, but again, what are your options out there? You got a guy like Jock Peterson, got a guy like Cody Bellinger, but how much are those guys going to cost? Because Jock Peterson, maybe he won't cost a ton. He's still making a lot of money. I don't know if the Steinbrenners are willing to put in that money yet. And with Cody Bellinger, he just signed his deal with Chicago, and yes, he's hitting pretty well, but since he just got there, they're not going to be willing to give him up for cheap. He's still a former MVP. He's not too far removed from that. He's still going to come at a pretty high price tag. So it will be interesting to see where they go to get that help, or if they try and keep it in-house. If they try and keep going with Bowers, who, man, his bat looks good. He's got to be able to feel the ball. Or the one hit Domingo gave up in the beginning of the game, that was not on Domingo. Jake Bowers, that was one of the worst routes I have ever seen a major leaguer take. And you probably make up the 3 of the top 5 based on this year. It has been atrocious watching him in the field. It's starting to get concerning, especially if they're going to start playing him more there. Based on the fact that we have Stanton back and there is no room for DH, he's going to have to field better than that. The Yankees do have to ask themselves, how much are we willing to spend? And if we are willing to, like, spill out some of this farm system, it better be for the right guys. Because if they don't get the right guys, we're basically starting over. Because we have no farm system to then call people up. We do have a good core of players in the majors right now. Donaldson's getting old. You have a Rizzo who's not a spring chicken. You have other guys like Oswaldo still doesn't look like he's fully adjusted. Will he be able to adjust? These are all questions that if you empty your farm system for like a left fielder or possibly a third baseman, if you do something of that sort, it better not be handcuffing this franchise. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to get more consistent with it. Sorry I was on vacation last week, which is why I recorded in that weird area and there was some background noise. That's why I was on vacation. But I'm back now. And like I said, a video specifically about Aaron Judge is coming out in a few days. So hit that sub button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss that video. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and